name is Emily. I'll be your guide on our safari to the Harambe Wildlife Reserve today. As we head on in here, just a few quick reminders. Please remain fully seated at all times. That includes little ones. They are more than welcome to sit on your lap, but that is where they must stay seated at all times. That means no lap passing, lap standing, or lap simbaing. They must remain fully seated, just like you should be. This is a photo safari, so go ahead, take those pictures. Just hold on nice and tight to anything you don't want to lose out here, like your cameras and phones. If you drop something, I cannot stop to get it. While you take those pictures as well, make sure to keep all hands, fingers, head, shoulders, knees, toes inside the truck at all times. As you do hide out here, just keep in mind that we're also entering the animals' homes. It's not our world, you're just living in there, so please be as kind and courteous to them as you can. Make sure to keep your conversations at an animal-appropriate volume. Please don't make any loud noises at them or beckon them towards the truck. They can already get pretty close to us, so we don't want to scare them away. We're going to begin here in the Little Ituri Forest. It's home to some of the more shy and reclusive animals on the reserve. A lot of them are really good at hiding and can blend with their surroundings, so we keep our eyes open for them. Take a look off to our right over there. Up on the hill, you can see an okapi up there munching away on something. Okapi are a great example of a shy animal. They weren't discovered by the Western world until 1901. Up till then, they were considered to be a mythical creature. Despite the zebra pants and socks, they are the only known relative to the giraffe. They'll share a similar skull structure, prehensile tongues, as well as the same number of vertebrae in their neck, 7, same amount as humans. The stripes are just their natural camouflage. They'll mimic sunlight shining through the branches, while the dark upper body acts as a shadow, helping them to blend right in. As elusive as a lot of the animals out here can be, we do see some pretty big ones. Every now and then a big black rhino or two will grace us with their presence. Pretty hard to miss a black rhino. They weigh about 3,000 pounds. Can also charge at 35 miles an hour. Often poached for their horns, which is sad since their horns are made of keratin. It's the same substance found in human fingernails and hair. Well, to our right there, up on the hill, you're going to see some big, tall tan antelope. Those are greater kudu, second tallest of the antelope species. They can stand about 55 inches at the shoulder. And then to our left, Cam is that. That's a big black rhino. Rhino horns are very unique. They're not attached to their skull like other horn species. They act more like fingernails. They can grow back if damaged. That makes the poaching of the species all the sadder, considering there are currently less than 5,000 black rhinos left in the world. That's why support preservers keep up all their conservation efforts as well as their breeding programs, help to keep those numbers climbing. If you look to our right side very carefully, all the way up in the bushes there, you can see some dark reddish-brown coats up there in the tree line. Those are bongo, known as the ghost of the forest since they're so rarely seen. They'll use their dark colors and their stripes to help them blend in. They're actually cousins to the kudu back there. They have the same white stripes. They're called segmented lines since they segment their body into sections. We're going to head out of the Ituri Forest, making our way down to the Safi River. It's home to some of Africa's most dangerous animals. And you know what that means. Hippos. Maybe when I say hippo, danger doesn't exactly come to mind, but they are considered to be one of the deadliest animals in Africa. They are extremely territorial. They're actually known to attack boats and people. They'll spend a lot of their day in the water. They can stay submerged for up to 8 minutes at a time, which gives them a great element of surprise on intruders. They also like to show off their big teeth. They are herbivores. They don't eat meat, but they are still pretty intimidating to look at. Coming up off to our right side there, you'll see a couple of pink eyeballs and shadows hanging out in the water there. And then to our left, you'll see quite a few more hippo humps as well. You wouldn't think the most fearsome animal in these waters would be facing many dangers, but their large teeth are a source of ivory, just like an elephant's tusks. It means that every day they grow closer and closer to endangerment due to illegal poaching. The hippos off to our left are hanging out with a different kind of pink animal. Those are the pink-backed pelicans. They get their name from the color that their backs turn during their mating seasons. Despite the size, they are one of the smaller of the pelican species, so they can still have a wingspan of almost 9 feet. Hippos will turn pink for a different reason. They sweat a red substance, acts as a sun protectant as well as a bug repellent for them, but also turns your skin pink. It's because of this it was thought for a very long time that hippos sweat blood. They don't. It's just nature protecting them from Africa's environment. The dark and murky waters of the river aren't just a great hideaway for hippos, but for lurking crocodiles as well. One of the largest species of crocodilian in Africa is the Nile crocodile. They can be as long as a giraffe is tall, which is about 20 feet. Crocs, they are carnivores, so just a friendly reminder, please stay seated. Crocodiles have enough force in their jaw to crush the bones of their prey. That way they can rip large chunks off and swallow them whole. It's about 2,000 pounds per square inch. They're a very patient predator. They'll sink to the bottom of the dark waters and wait there for something to cross their paths. They can hold their breath for up to 2 hours as long as they remain active. They won't typically eat every single day, but when they do eat, they can consume almost their entire body weight in one meal. It's almost 400 pounds. We're going to start switching ecosystems a bit. Going to head out of the wetlands and down to the grasslands of the savanna. It's home to some of Africa's more iconic animals. The great sign we're headed in the right direction is here on our right. It's a big baobab tree, also called the upside down tree though, because it kind of looks like it was planted upside down. Legend has it that the creator got so frustrated he still had trees left over, he just threw the rest over his shoulder. They all landed upside down. That's where they stayed. In reality, you will start noticing a drastic shift in the environment out here. Certainly a lot less trees and bushes to begin with. The animals rely more on their speed and agility rather than their ability to blend in. What few trees there are, they don't have too many low-hanging branches. They're all about giraffe height. Because the giraffes help to keep them nice and trimmed. Something they're happy to do, since they eat about 16 to 20 hours of their day. As we reach the bottom of the hill here off to our right side, you'll see a few of those grazers and browsers hanging out over here. Well, all the way out down the road, you're going to see a good-sized group of wildebeest, one of the most densely packed mammals aside from humans. They can migrate in groups anywhere between 1.2 to 1.5 million large, sometimes even more. Wildebeest is their Afrikaans name, translates literally to wild beast, but they're also called Nu in Swahili, spelled G-N-U after the sound they make. You can already see some of those tallest residents as well. Giraffes are the tallest animal in the world, not just on the savanna. They're a migratory species, they'll walk around quite a bit. They only sleep about 30 minutes a day, and it's not usually all at the same time. We're going to go around the trees a little bit, we'll get closer to them up there. In the meantime, just keep an eye off to our left, coming up on a den. It's usually a pretty good sign of pack hunters. Sometimes we'll see African wild dogs out here. They have a pretty neat coat pattern. It's a mix of black, tan, and white. Kind of looks like they got splashed with paint. That's where they get their other name, the painted dog. They're early morning hunters. They're laying down somewhere. Just keep your eyes open. You can see a little bit of that coat pattern laying on the ground, pretty close to us over there. Wild dogs look pretty cute, but they are certainly not cuddly. They're one of the most successful pack hunters in Africa with a success rate of 90%. It's higher than a lion and a cheetah. Their high success comes from strong lungs and long legs. They can run for up to 3.5 miles at a time. They will just chase their prey into exhaustion. You can certainly see those giraffes a bit better already up here towards our left as well. You can also see some sable antelope back there lounging in the grass. Sables have those long, curved horns which they use for defense. They'll get down on their knees and then show them off to anything willing to challenge them. Well, there are 8 different subspecies of giraffes in the world. Most of them are pretty hard to tell apart, aside from reticulated giraffes. Ones here on the reserve are Maasai giraffes, named after the Masai Mara region of eastern Africa. One of their more noticeable features is that messy, irregular pattern on their coats. If you want to compare coat patterns, up above you on the spotting guide, that's actually a picture of a reticulated giraffe. They have a very straight edge pattern to their coats. It's almost net-like. That's where their name comes from, reticulata, which is Latin for net-like. You can see how well they're keeping the trees trimmed for us. They have all the tools that they need to help them reach their food, long necks, long legs. They also have very long tongues. Their tongues are prehensile. They'll act as an extra appendage to grab on. They can extend to an additional 18 inches to help them reach those high branches. It's long enough to lick their own eyeball if they wanted to. Don't forget their long necks have the same number of vertebrae that ours do, 7. The only difference is that theirs are larger. I don't know about metaphorically, but literally, giraffes also have a very large heart. It's about 2 feet and 65 pounds. To go with their large bodies and large organs, they also have the highest blood pressure of any animal. You can still see just a little bit more of that unique landscape out here as well. Lots of termite mounds. Serve as great vantage points and scratching posts for some of the animals in the area. They're typically made of dirt, termite saliva, and poop. They bake in the sun to a concrete texture. Look pretty solid, but they are porous, with lots of air pockets for ventilation, as well as tunnel systems so the termites can move around. I see some more grazers up ahead here towards our right side. You can probably see those wildebeest again as well. The smaller antelope here, these are springbok. They're fully grown, they only reach about 3 feet in height. Get their name from the way that they spring up into the air as they run. It's a display that they do called pronking. They'll typically do this when they're afraid or excited. Their ability to jump comes from a unique tendon in their back legs. Acts like a spring. It can compress and release, allowing them to jump 6 feet straight into the air. Just up ahead towards our right as well, underneath those palm trees, you can see some pretty big horns poking up above the bushes there. These are the Ankole cattle. The Ankole are the only domesticated animal on the reserve, also called the Watusi cattle after the tribe that first domesticated them. But even from here, you can see those horns are pretty large, but they're not too heavy. They're hollow on the inside. It's a honeycomb-shaped pattern. Helps to circulate their blood and keep them cool. The grazers do tend to stick together in larger groups like this. It's called a mega herd. It's because there's safety in numbers, especially when you're the prey. The wildebeest have actually learned the distress signs of other species. That way they know when to run even when they can't see what's coming. And you can see a few more of those Ankole a little bit further from here. You can see the ones with the palm trees from here too. We're going to start making our way to the other side of the savannah. To get there, we're going to pass through Monkey Point. Called that because a troop of mandrills took the area over a while ago. So we're going to see if they're home today. The mandrill is the largest monkey in the world. Males can reach about 100 pounds. They're very distinguishable thanks to their blue and red facial features, which make them the most colorful monkey. They do like to hang around up ahead here, but they're pretty quick and they like to hide. Actually, I think I'm going to keep my eyes open for them. You guys can keep your eyes off to our right. You'll start to see their new neighbor. He's a little bit bigger than a monkey. About the size of an elephant. He's going to kind of disappear the closer we get because he's in a bit of a weird angle over there, but we'll try and get another good look at him up ahead. You can see a little bit of monkey activity to our left there under the trees. He's just sitting on the rocks. You can see a little bit of movement. Troops are led by a dominant male. He's a lot larger, more brightly colored, both on the front and the back. Like most monkey species, mandrills are omnivores, so they eat pretty much anything. Actually, special pouches in their cheeks, just like rodents. They can store snacks for later. Here, let's see if we can get a good look at this big guy. He's going to be a little bit behind us to our right side now since we're coming up on our old road. Judging by his size, it looks like there is only one good chance it's a male. Males are usually found in a herd of fully grown males known as a bachelor herd, or all alone, living a solitary life. It's because elephants are matriarchal. They're led by the primary female. Somewhere between the age of 15 and 18, males just don't need a female to take care of them anymore, so they get the boot. He kind of gave it away. We're actually headed to elephant country. I think we'll head over there so we get a little bit of a better view of a mighty pachyderm. We don't use that road he's hanging out on much these days. It got washed away a while back. Since then, we've been taking our trusty old bridge. This is the oldest bridge in Harambe, and it can look a little scary, but just close your eyes like I do, you barely even notice. Alrighty, looks like we finally made it to the other side here. It does look like some elephants have made their way through here as well. You can see a few tusk marks in the red clay on the other side of us. Elephants like to eat red clay. They'll scrape it off with their tusks. It's kind of like a giant vitamin. It provides them with all their minerals. All reserves help protect elephants from habitat devastation as well as poaching. Farmers out in the wilds of Africa are starting to help do their part as well. Some are building special fences around their crops filled with bees. Elephants are afraid of bees. Very smart. They know that the buzzing means danger, so when they get too close to the fence and the fence starts to buzz, the elephants will run away. Helps to keep them safe and out of trouble. You can already see a few members of our herd off to our left here. I'm actually not allowed to stop at this hill, but we'll swing around a bit. You can see the rest of them out in the distance there. Larger groups tend to be a mix of female and young. They're led by the matriarch. She's the oldest and largest of the females. She'll know all the best migration patterns as well as the best places to get food and water. They can find water in even the most unconventional of resources, like the big baobab trees out here. Elephants can pierce the bark of the baobab with their tusks to get the water out during the dry seasons. Comes in handy considering that they store about 10,000 gallons of water in there. There, you can see the rest of the herd a little bit better from here. Maybe to our left side again. You can at least see how dirty elephants are from here. They have really sensitive skin. Spend a lot of their day throwing dirt and mud on their backs to act like a sunscreen to help protect them. If they ever feel too overheated, they can flap their big ears. It can lower their body temperature by almost 10 degrees. Those ears are a good indicator for us as well. It tells us what kind of elephants they are. First of all, we're in Africa. They're African elephants. Second of all, those ears are a lot larger than Asian elephants. They're also shaped like the continent of Africa. Like we have stumbled upon a flamboyance of flamingos. These look like greater flamingo, tallest flamingo species. Because they're so tall, the pink pigment stretches just a little further, so they're also the palest of the flamingos. Any good wilderness This explorer knows that flamingos get the color from their diet. They'll eat a lot of food rich in beta-carotene, things like shrimp and algae. When they eat enough, they'll turn pink. It's a process that can take about 2 years from their birth. They have a pretty unique anatomy. It's almost impossible for them to eat unless their head is completely upside down due to their bill shape. Their long legs will also end at the bend. Anything after that is all ankle and foot, ending in 3 webbed toes. I did call them a flamboyant sort of group of flamingos is called. A lot of animals have unique names for their groups like that. We saw a bloat of hippos earlier, as well as a tower of giraffes. Looks like something big is rolling around on this mud pit. Might also be on the lookout for a crash of rhinos. There it is. Rhinos wallow around in mud till a thick layer forms on their skin. They then let it bake on at the heat of the sun to become a sunblock. It's interesting how sensitive a rhino skin could be, considering it's about 1 inch thick. These are the white rhino, larger cousin to that black rhino we saw earlier. They weigh significantly more, about 4,000 to 5,000 pounds. This will charge 35 miles an hour. Group of rhino, no matter what kind, will always be called a crash. Very fitting name, considering they can't really see more than 5 feet in front of their face. They have really good hearing though. You'll see most of them off to our right side here. The white rhinos make up a majority of the rhino population left in the world. Altogether, between the 5 different species, there's about 27,000 rhinos. About 20,000 of them are white rhino. Unfortunately, it's almost all the southern species. The northern one is going extinct very fast. The last male passed away about a year ago, so there's not much hope for them, but there's hope for the others. Researchers are working on their part with their conservation efforts as well as their breeding programs, and we as humans of the world can do ours just by watching what we buy and what we do for our planet. While we're rolling through the hills here, we're going to keep our eyes open for some spots. I've seen cheetahs in the area lately. Cheetahs are pretty quick. Thanks to their spots, they tend to blend in rather well with their environment. They're one of the fastest of the land animals. They can reach speeds of 50 to 60 miles an hour. Can't maintain their fast speeds for too long though. It uses up a lot of their energy. They're pretty unique predators. They're actually a day hunter. They use their spots for camouflage. They also have the darker lines underneath their eyes. Those reflect sunlight as they run. Being day hunters is unique in a predator since most are nocturnal, like lions, for example. Lions will sleep rest most of their day, about 16 to 20 hours of it. Males tend to sleep a lot more than females do, since the females are the primary hunters of the prey. That being said, it's a bit early for lions, but we'll drive around here and might get lucky. Oh, it looks like we got lucky. On our left, right underneath that farthest tree, a lot of hair sitting under it. You can see the darker coat of the male's mane there, and then he's surrounded by his girlfriends. They're in a bit of a weird spot up there, and these hedges are not going to do us any favors, but I'm going to try and pull up as best as I can. This is what lions do with most of their day. Not too much. They're only awake about 3 years of their entire life. Considering they have a 15 to 20 year lifespan, pretty good average. Prides will usually consist of multiple females, 1 male. Girls do all the work, need more than 1. Usually when the females are out hunting, males stay home and take care of the cubs. In the last century or so, lion numbers have declined by about 80%, leaving only 20,000 lions left in the wilds of Africa these days. This is due to things like habitat loss as well as human conflict, whether it be poaching, trophy hunting, or even farmers just trying to protect their lands. In 1995, Disney started the Disney Conservation Fund with the hopes of helping species all around the world as well as their environments. And since 1995, they have donated over $13 million to over 30 different projects just in Africa alone for these species. We'll swing around the corner here, get a bit of a better look at those ostrich over there. Just want us a good look at those Simbas there on our left. It is the Swahili word for lion, so they are all Simbas. If I recall correctly, there's also some warthog burrows around here. I don't think they and Simba are best friends in real life, but the warthog is one of the largest of the burrowing mammals. They'll dig a burrow with their tusk and their feet, and then they back in with their tusk facing out. That way they can be ready to defend themselves at any time. You'll certainly see the burrows to our left, just big holes in the ground. You can see a couple of hairy rocks sitting over there as well. You'll notice that that warthog is sitting down and on his knees eating. He's not lazy, well, he is lazy, but he also doesn't have enough vertebrae in his neck to bend down, so they get down on their knees instead. You're going to see those ostrich just a bit better off to our right side. It's a group of girls. They have the gray and white feathers, not black and white like the males. Hanging out with them as well, you'll see another one of my favorite animals, the bontebok. They're a relative to the wildebeest. In the right light, that brown coat looks almost purple. It's a reason why they were hunted to near extinction in the early 19th century. At one point, there were only 17 of them left in the world. Since then, their numbers have climbed, but only on reserves. They are still technically extinct in the wild. Their whole species was saved by one farmer out in Africa. He just thought he was doing a nice thing, so he built a fence around the 17 remaining ones. Little did he know, Bontebok can't jump, so he helped repopulate the species just by building a fence. The ostrich there are the largest bird in the world. They can't fly, of course, though, which is good. That'd be pretty scary. These are more for direction as they run instead of flight. They have very powerful legs, which they use to run at speeds of about 40 miles an hour. Their legs are so strong, they've been known to take on predators as big as those lions with just one kick. We're gonna head into the last area of the reserve. It's called the Gotti Glen. You'll notice there's a little bit more vegetation out here. A lot of animals really do depend on plants, not just as a source of food, but some as a source of water as well. There's you take a look on our left there. Right on top of the hill, you'll see a white coat sitting up there. That is a scimitar horned oryx. They'll consume so much vegetation, they can go up to 9 months without drinking water. Drink it if it's there, but only out of convenience and not necessity. It's a superpower that comes in handy considering that they're a desert-dwelling animal. They can eat a large meal and then just go wander out in the desert until they find a new source of food. Still see him pretty well from over here. We can at least see where he gets his name from. The shape of those horns resemble the scimitar swords of the Middle East. They are built for desert dwelling. They have pretty flat hooves to help them walk in the sand. They also have a very high internal body temperature. They don't even start sweating till they hit 115 degrees. With that, my friends, it does look like we're headed back towards the village of Harambe, which means that our safari is coming to an end. If you're wondering if there's anything you can do at home to help any of the animals we saw today, maybe just help your favorite animal, you can always practice your 3 R's: reduce, reuse, recycle. Many of the animals on the reserve are losing their natural habitats due to mining of a certain mineral found in electronic devices. So doing something as simple as recycling your old cell phone or your old laptop can help save their homes. You can even set up small ecosystems in your own backyard like a bird house or a bird bath. Help provide homes and places to go for those who have already lost theirs. If you'd like to help some animals a little more directly, you can always donate to the Disney Conservation Fund at any merchandise location in the park. No matter what it is that you donate, even if it's just a penny, Disney will match $1 for $1. For doing so, you'll receive a Conservation Fund button, and your proceeds are going to go to help animals all around the world, not just here at Animal Kingdom. If you'd like to see some more animals, I always recommend checking out the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. They have a great gorilla sanctuary up there, as well as some cool, creepy crawlies. If you've never seen a naked mole rat, today's the day. Come on back and join us anytime. No safari is ever the same. The animals make sure that. We'll be running tours until 8:30 p.m. this evening, so come on back and join us anytime until then. Once again, friends, my name is Emily. Thank you for choosing Kilimanjaro Safaris for all of your safari needs today. Here in Harambe, we don't like to say goodbye, so instead, I'm going to leave you with Kwaherini, which means go well. You see back here? Kwaherini. Hope you enjoyed the safari as much as I did, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day here at Disney's Animal